By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what Amazon Brand Registry is, why it's important to register your brand on Amazon, the features you'll unlock with Amazon Brand Registry, as well as exactly how to apply for Brand Registry and how to navigate the Brand Registry portal. Let's dive into it. So what is Amazon Brand Registry? Amazon Brand Registry is a free program by Amazon that allows you to manage your intellectual property, enhance your product listings, and just gain more control over your brand on Amazon. You actually don't need a store on Amazon to apply for Brand Registry. So when you do apply for Brand Registry, which we'll explore later in the video, you're actually going to go to a separate portal than Seller Central. This is the Brand Registry portal. You can access the Brand Registry portal on brandregistry.amazon.com. So why should we even register our brand on Amazon? Well, let's talk about the importance of this. Amazon Brand Registry gives your brand an additional layer of protection. So there's going to be competition on Amazon, and Amazon Brand Registry is not designed to get rid of your competition. So you're never going to be able to control who your competitors are, but what you can control is your intellectual property. And this is exactly what Brand Registry gets you. It gives you control over your brand on Amazon so that you can protect your IP. In order to apply for Amazon Brand Registry, you're going to need a trademark. This trademark has to be valid and registered with the United States Patent Office. And while Brand Registry isn't going to prevent competition, it's definitely going to give you a competitive edge because it's going to give you a whole bunch of features that you can unlock. Let's talk about what those features are. Number one is intellectual property protection. And first off, I'm not a legal professional, so for legal matters, it's always important to consult a professional. When it comes to Amazon Brand Registry, we are able to utilize intellectual property protection. And what this means is that you now have a mechanism to enforce your IP. So let's say you have a patent or you have something copyrighted or you have a trademark on your product and brand name. You can actually use the Amazon Brand Registry tool to issue intellectual property complaints to other listings that infringe on your brand. So sometimes there are knockoffs that come on the marketplace and attempt to take your brand name or use your brand name in their marketing on their listing. So Amazon Brand Registry is a great way to protect your brand from problems like this. So you'll actually be able to go into the portal and file an intellectual property complaint against another seller if they are in fact infringing on your trademark or other IP. And this is super important because if they're not infringing on your trademark or IP, you can actually get yourself into trouble with Amazon by issuing a faulty IP claim. When it comes to intellectual property, Amazon takes this stuff really serious. And because of that, we definitely want to be mindful of how we're issuing these claims and who we're issuing them against. Let's first talk about what this tool is not for. This tool is not for unauthorized sellers on Amazon, meaning if you own a brand or you represent a brand on Amazon in an exclusive brand relationship like I do with many of my partners, you cannot actually go on Amazon in that Brand Registry portal and issue an IP claim against a seller who's technically not authorized to sell your product on Amazon. Unless you have proof that that seller is actually using your branding and selling an inauthentic product, you can't just go and file a Brand Registry IP claim to that seller just because they're selling your product. When unauthorized sellers happen on Amazon, this is a distribution issue, not a legal issue. So if you're the brand owner or you're working directly with the brand, you're going to want to communicate these things and help them understand that they need to get control on their distribution before they go and file claims in Brand Registry. Because if you have unauthorized sellers on Amazon and you don't know how they're getting the inventory, chances are they're probably getting the inventory from either two-step distribution or through an actual retail store and just doing retail arbitrage and flipping them on Amazon. And if you want to protect your brand from those sellers, you have to handle the distribution first. Another thing that the intellectual property tool is not for is it's not for issuing claims against price violators. So Amazon makes it very clear that they do not enforce minimum advertised pricing. Minimum advertised pricing, also known as MAP, is an agreement between the distributor, or you, and the brand. This agreement is a private agreement between you guys, and Amazon really doesn't have anything to do with it. And because Amazon is a free marketplace, they don't allow you to issue IP claims against sellers who are violating a pricing policy. That would violate the nature of the free marketplace, which is why you don't want to be using that tool solely if you find a seller on Amazon violating the MAP agreement. If you do have MAP pricing violators, again, this goes back to the distribution and controlling what distribution channels your product is flowing through. Let's talk about the second great feature of Amazon Brand Registry, which is A+ brand content. A+ brand content is such a great value add for brands, and it's a great value add for you if you're the brand owner yourself. When I work with my brand partners, I always emphasize how important A+ brand content is. A+ brand content allows you to showcase the great features and benefits of your product through the best way possible on Amazon. Images. Pictures paint 1,000 words, and when customers shop on Amazon, they have a really short attention span. Because of that, we need to capture that customer as quickly as possible, and one of the best ways to do that is through A+ brand content. In the A+ brand content section, you're able to include things like the story and message of your brand. You're able to also add in product features and benefits, and even use comparative charts so that you can take one product in your line and compare it to another product and highlight the advantages of both. This helps brands garner more loyal customers and really drives more traffic to that brand as a whole. The third feature of Amazon Brand Registry that you unlock is something called a brand store. When a customer shops on Amazon and they navigate to the product listing, they'll be able to see the brand name underneath the title of that product listing. And that brand name is going to be hyperlinked. If it says the brand name and then store next to it, that means that if a customer clicks on that hyperlink, it's going to bring them to a brand store. And in this brand store, the brand further is able to deliver their message to the customer. So a customer is able to see brand specific marketing, and more importantly, you as a brand owner or a brand representative can actually upsell the customer into other products within that brand line. These are products that the customer alternatively may not have ever even seen if they haven't visited your brand store. So that's what's really powerful about a brand store, is that you can actually increase sales by driving customers to not just one of your products, but other products as well. If a brand does not have a brand store, this can actually limit the potential of the brand. And here's what I mean. If a customer clicks on that hyperlinked brand name and it doesn't bring them to a brand store, what's probably going to happen is it's going to bring that customer to a page of competitors. This means that you are potentially losing a customer that you alternatively could have upsold into other products in your line. Instead, now they are leaving your brand and directed to other competitors and potentially going and buying that competitor's products. With the brand store and A+ brand content, we are able to deliver our story and message of the brand. This is super important for a brand, because if you can really connect with your customer and take the anonymity out of the shopping experience on Amazon, that customer is going to become a more loyal customer, and they're more likely to visit your brand's website, which will in turn potentially reduce your brand's customer acquisition cost. So now we are using an organic way of sales growth and reducing customer acquisition cost on Amazon to drive growth for your brand. This is what makes A+ brand content and having a brand store super powerful. The goal of these tools is so that you can build a greater connection with the customer, garner a more loyal customer, and funnel them into your ecosystem, so now they're not just shopping for your products on Amazon, but they're also driven to your brand's website. And let's say you have a product that runs off off of a recurring revenue model like subscribe and save, this is again a great way to get that customer from Amazon to the subscribe and save on your website, and also maximize the Amazon platform for the customer that just wants to stay on Amazon. Okay, so far we've learned what Amazon Brand Registry is, why it's important to register your brand on Amazon, as well as the great features you're going to unlock when you apply for Brand Registry. Now let's dive into an on-screen example where I'm going to show you step by step of how to apply for Brand Registry and how to navigate the Brand Registry portal. All right, everyone, we are inside of the Brand Registry dashboard. And if you don't have a Brand Registry account, the first thing you're going to want to do is type in the URL brandregistry.amazon.com. From here, it will bring you to a page where you will be able to create a username and a password, which can be the same as your Amazon selling account. You can log into Brand Registry, and then at that point, we can access all of the good features. So let's explore some of these features that Brand Registry gives to us. So right here, what we're looking at is the main page, and notices of infringement just means that this is a record of any intellectual property complaints that you've filed against other sellers. So if there's knockoffs on Amazon or other sellers that are actually attempting to use your intellectual property in their listings, you can issue them an IP claim in Brand Registry on the basis of a trademark infringement, a patent infringement, or a copyright infringement. And once you issue that claim to the seller, you will see the status of your infringement claim here, whether it's been accepted, partially accepted, rejected, or under review by Amazon. So let's explore a couple of these features of Brand Registry. So right here we have the Manage tab. Manage intellectual property is where you'll be able to see the intellectual property status of your brand. So as we know, in order to apply for Brand Registry, you need to have a trademark approved by the USPTO. Now, in some cases, you may be able to apply for Brand Registry with a trademark that has been filed for with the USPTO, but you may be limited in some features of the Brand Registry. For instance, if your trademark is not yet approved by the USPTO, you may not be able to issue IP claims where you deem necessary, and you may not have access yet to enhanced features like A+ content and brand store, things that we've covered so far in the video. Now, if your trademark is fully approved by the USPTO, then you are totally good to apply for Amazon Brand Registry. And at that point, Amazon will most likely, as long as your trademark is approved and you have that valid registration number or serial number, Amazon will likely approve your Brand Registry within about 48 hours or so. While we're on the topic of trademarks, I want to jump over to Amazon's IP Accelerator program. What this program accomplishes is that if you have your brand or you work with other brands like we do, where we represent the brands on Amazon, and that brand does not have a trademark that is registered within the United States yet, they're going to be limited, or you're going to be limited on getting Brand Registry. And even if you do get Brand Registry, as we pointed out, you may be lacking some features. So one program that Amazon has is called the IP Accelerator program. And this allows you to work with one of Amazon's in-partner legal firms in order to expedite that Brand Registry process. Meaning that if you work with one of Amazon's in-partner legal firms to obtain and file for the trademark, you will be able to apply for Brand Registry upon filing for the trademark, instead of waiting the standard 10 to 12 month process that it would take to complete the trademark process with the USPTO. So this is definitely something you'll want to consider. It's a pitch that we give to brands, and in an exclusive brand agreement on Amazon, a lot of times we will cover the cost of this. It is going to be more expensive than just simply applying for a regular trademark with the USPTO. A regular old trademark following the 10 to 12 month approval process is going to cost probably anywhere between $200 and $400 to file for that. IP Accelerator, depending on the legal firm you work with, depending on the services that you use, it may cost you around $1,500. But again, that is going to vary based on the firm that you use and the services that you're looking for. So you guys can explore this website in a little bit more detail and inquire with some legal firms if you are interested in this program. Back to Brand Registry. So Manage you'll be able to manage your intellectual property here, view your trademark status, and see what the status of your brand registry is. Here's where we'll enroll your brand. So we're actually going to dive into an example of me actually enrolling a brand, and I'm going to walk you through that process of what it looks like. And then we are also going to be able to see our brand applications here, so we can check in on the status of brand registry application. Protect is where we would actually be able to report a violation. So if you believe that there's another seller that's infringing on your intellectual property, you would want to do that here. You could go ahead and hit protect and then report a violation, and it would bring you to a page where you can paste the ASIN in here of the listing that you believe to be a concern to your intellectual property, and then it would follow through a sequence of actually filing an IP claim, and you'd have to submit some information to Amazon. It's important not to abuse this tool because Amazon will revoke it. So you can't just file IP claims against any competitor or an unauthorized seller on your listing, especially if they might be selling authentic product. If they are using your brand name or selling counterfeit product, that's obviously a different story. So just be mindful of that when you do file. Monitor will be able to see the submissions of our intellectual property filings, and support. If you ever need to contact Brand Registry support, just like Amazon Seller Support, they do have a support center where you can specify certain situations and issues that you may have. So over on the right-hand side, we have here, again, help. This is where you can get some more information about Amazon Brand Registry. And if you do need to reach out to their support, you can certainly do so by contacting a representative there, and they will prompt you through, specific matters related to your brand. So you can select from what is most appropriate to your issue. So if we toggle over here to settings and go to user permissions, this is actually a tool you may use and find very relevant, especially if you're running a business model like we do, where we are the brand representative of the brands that we carry on Amazon. So we need to be given a level of administration on their brand registry account so that we can work on their behalf to optimize things on the Amazon platform. This is where we're going to get that admin access. So you'll click on user permissions. So here is where, if let's say you were working with a brand, or you own the brand and you wanted to give the rights to manage the brand registry to a company like ours, this is where you would do that. So here you would input the email address of the person that's managing it, the name, and the brand. You would select from the dropdown. If you manage multiple brands, you would select from the brand that you're looking to do. If you own one brand, then you would just select from that one brand. You would use the Amazon.com marketplace unless there was relevance in another foreign marketplace, and then you would select the role. So if you are the brand owner and you are granting this rights to a third party, like our company, for instance, you will want to either give that company the administrator rights and or the registered agent rights. You do not want to give them the rights owner rights because they are not the rights owner. You are. So this is important when you are granting access for your brand. And if you are a company like ours, where you manage and work with brands to optimize the Amazon platform, you will want to instruct them to give you both administrator and registered agent status. Why is this? Well, it's not to really give us any sort of control. And this is something I always emphasize to brands when we are having conversations about granting brand registry permissions. It's not for control. It's for optimization. So we want to make sure that we are getting everything done in an efficient manner with Amazon. So from an Amazon standpoint, Amazon wants to see that we, as the appointed registered agent, are both an administrator and a registered agent on the brand registry. It just gives us a little bit more clout with Amazon to accomplish the mutually beneficial goals, which are to optimize the listing with A+ brand content, build out brand store and other marketing materials, as well as potentially file intellectual property complaints where necessary. And from this last dropdown, you would select the appropriate administration, whether they are an internal employee, whether they are a service provider. If you're a company like ours, it would be from the service provider selection, or if you're a third-party law firm, or if you are the brand yourself. So this manage permissions tool is used to give either an internal employee or a external third-party service like ours the ability to optimize and work on behalf of the brand within Amazon Brand Registry and Amazon Seller Central. So now that we've covered a brief outline of the different features of Brand Registry, I just want to show you guys, that we're doing this in real time. So we have 23 brands in our Brand Registry, and as you guys know, if you've watched other videos, my business model is brand direct wholesale. So I work directly with brands to build relationships where we can optimize their Amazon presence, and Brand Registry is a tool that helps us do that. So we have 23 brands in Brand Registry, constantly looking to funnel more brands in to our pipeline so that we can grow our business and help brands succeed on the Amazon platform. So this is where you'd be able to see all your brands. Again, if you're a private label seller, maybe you just have one, maybe two brands in here, that's completely fine. There are many different ways to use Brand Registry depending on the model that you have for your Amazon business. Now let's run through an example of how to apply for Amazon Brand Registry. So the first thing you're going to want to do is click on Manage and then enroll a brand. And from here, you'll want to select enroll your brand. Alternatively, you could do get started with IP Accelerator if you don't have a trademark. As we mentioned earlier, you do need a trademark to apply for Brand Registry. So you're going to go ahead and hit enroll your brand. From here, it will bring you to a page where you will need to enter your brand name exactly as you want it to read on the Amazon listing. So just make sure this is exact because Amazon does not make the process easy of going back and changing brand names. So make sure this is the brand name that you want on your listing at all times. From here, you'll also be able to upload a brand logo. So this is a brand logo that you'll want to use based on Amazon's requirements here. So just make sure you're compliant with their requirements. It should represent your brand and fill pretty much the entire image and or be on a white background. So just be mindful of Amazon's documentation compliance. So just be mindful of Amazon's requirements here when you submit the image. If it is a valid image, it'll just automatically be accepted by Amazon. We are applying through the USPTO. Unless, of course, you are in another country. Now, serial number or registration number. So if you go to the USPTO website and you've already applied for a trademark or you already have a trademark, you'll be able to see the status on the USPTO website of that trademark being live and active. On that website, you will also be able to see a serial number and a registration number on that trademark. So if I jump over here and go to USPTO trademark search, I can go ahead and click on this, and then I can search the trademark system. So the URL is uspto.gov, and from here I can actually search the trademark system. So if I jump over here to the USPTO trademark search, I can actually just type in the URL tmsearch.uspto.gov, and you can search for your brand name. And if you are live and registered, and even if you're not yet registered, you will be able to see the status. It'll say live. If it's live and up and running, it'll say dead if it's not valid, or it'll say pending. Whether it's pending or live, you will have a trademark registration number as well as a serial number, and this is the URL that you will be able to find that information at. You can search up any brand in this database, and if they're registered with the USPTO, or if they're working to get registered, or if they were registered at one time with the USPTO, you'll be able to find it here. That also applies if you are the brand owner and you're creating a new brand. You'll want to select the category that best fits your brand here, and this is just all of Amazon's categories that they offer. You will also want to enter the ASIN or ASINs that you are going to use here and sell on, as well as you can put your website if you have one. It's an optional selection here, so you don't need to, and you could specify if you are selling your brand on other e-commerce channels. So generally, I will put the website that we are applying for the brand registry with, so the brand's website here. I'll usually leave this blank because I just don't see that it being necessary for any reason, and then we will upload product images. So these images can be taken of your product with a cell phone. You'll want to get a three-dimensional viewpoint of the product. So, have a few different images there where Amazon can see all different sides of the product, and ideally some sort of branding on the product if you have it. So I'm going to go ahead and fill all this information out. and then I'm going to jump to the next screen. All right, so now that you've entered all the information in your brand information, now you will want to specify the business information to Amazon. So this is related to the Amazon selling account. So Amazon gives us a couple options to submit here. Are you a seller or a vendor for the brand you're enrolling? Seller, I use Amazon Seller Central to sell my products directly to customers. Vendor, I use Amazon Vendor Central to sell my products to Amazon as a third party, or neither, I don't have a business relationship with Amazon Seller or Vendor Central. So Amazon Seller Central is going to be the relevant one to you. If you're a private label seller and you're creating your own brand, you are going to be selling your brand on Amazon. So your applicable scenario is going to be Amazon Seller Central. Same goes if you are a third party working with a brand, you are selling their products on Amazon, so it's going to be Seller. Vendor is only if you as the brand are selling directly to Amazon, and Amazon is your customer. So Amazon purchases your product outright at wholesale cost, and they sell on their platform. So the more common use is going to be Seller Central, but some brands do choose to sell directly to Amazon. So you'll select the appropriate option and then hit next. Final step of the process is entering manufacturing and distribution information. So you'll want to specify to Amazon if your brand does or does not sell to distributors. So in our case, the brand that I'm filing for does in fact sell to distributors, and the answer is no, they do not sell on Amazon. That's because we are exclusive for this brand that I'm filing for. We're the only Amazon seller. They do have distributors, but those distributors do not sell on Amazon. And then it gives you an optional selection here as to where your products are distributed. I'm not going to put anything in there because it's not necessary. And then you will need to enter if your product contains licensed trademarks, meaning does your brand license trademarks to others who manufacture products associated with your intellectual property? So does your brand take the label and license it out to others? So does your brand engage in licensing activities? More times than not, this is probably going to be no, but for some brands, depending on the nature of the product, that may be an activity within their business is licensing agreements. So for us, the answer is no. So I will go ahead and hit no and then hit submit. All right, you will now be faced with this page for what's next. Your application is under review. Please allow up to 21 business days for the case ID associated with your application to appear in your case log. So Amazon's going to just give you a brief message here. Now, I will tell you, if you have a valid trademark and you submit all the information that Amazon asks for, chances are you're probably going to get approved, unless you're missing a piece of information with Amazon. So just be patient in the process, give it a little bit of time. A lot of times Amazon will approve this in 48 to 72 hours, and you'll be off and running with your brand registry. Where things get a little bit more uncertain is when you don't have a fully registered trademark with the USPTO and you've applied for brand registry. So USPTO may grant a serial number to your trademark, at which point you can use that serial number to apply for brand registry. However, Amazon may or may not approve your brand. If they do, that's great. However, you may be limited in the features that you can use for Amazon brand registry. So it is also important to note that if you are looking to implement A+ brand content and implement a brand store and provide all the great features that Amazon has from a creative standpoint so that you can really make your Amazon listings more engaging and really showcase your products to the customer to increase sales and just build a more cohesive presence for your brand, these are the great features of brand registry. However, these are the great features that brand registry does allow you to unlock, but these physical changes are actually going to take place in Amazon Seller Central. So there's a section in Amazon Seller Central where you can actually navigate to A+ brand content, at which point you can create modules using graphics and really high quality imagery. So all that work will get done in your Amazon selling account as opposed to brand registry. One final point that I want to make when you do apply for your brand registry on Amazon, Amazon is going to send you a message in the brand registry portal and it will appear as an open case. This message is going to say that they have sent a unique code to the public trademark correspondent on file. This just means that whoever filed for your trademark, so whatever attorney you use to file for your trademark, is actually going to get an email with a code from Amazon. So the next step is going to be to reply to Amazon with that code. So all you have to do if you're the brand owner is reach out to the public trademark correspondent that helped you apply for your trademark and then ask them what that unique code is so that you can submit it to Amazon. If you're a brand representative like I am with many of my brand partners, all you'll have to do is reach out to the brand directly and explain to them that we've applied for brand registry and Amazon is requesting a unique code that got sent to the public trademark correspondent. And in turn, they will send you that code and you'll be able to send that code to Amazon. At this point, if you send Amazon the correct code and attach the appropriate case ID, 9 times out of 10, Amazon will in fact approve your brand registry and you'll be off and running. So there you have it, a complete tutorial of Amazon Brand Registry, how to apply for it, why it's important, and all of the features that you'll unlock. I hope you guys found a lot of value in this video, so get out there, put in the work, go crush it, and we'll see you in the next video. Let's go.